Well, change in leadership and a big change at the border, of course, one of the biggest issues in the election, now a real focus of the Trump administration's efforts. The number of apprehensions now along the U.S.-Mexico border plummeted by a third last month. Take a look. January saw nearly 35,000 fewer apprehensions compared to December. Might be the time of year. It's cold. People don't like to get out there in the desert. Those numbers dropped even further after President Trump took office on January 20th.
Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas joins us now just to put this all into perspective and explain exactly what it means. So, Pierre, let's talk about the numbers. What exactly does it say about both the Biden and Trump administration's approach to immigration? How do you read this?
Well, there's just no doubt about it that these are dramatic numbers. If you look at comparing January 24 to January 2025, the month that just passed, we're talking about a difference of 100,000 fewer people, coming to the southern border and being apprehended. That's just a significant decline. Now, we know with the Biden executive order last June that the numbers did start to decline somewhat, but there's no doubt about it, a dramatic decline since President Trump took office. You saw the numbers up a few moments ago. We were averaging 2,636 roughly apprehensions per day in the first part of January of this year. After the Trump administration was put in place, that number fell to 796 per day. So just a dramatic difference that we're seeing at the border that will actually have a great amount of impact on the resources that the U.S. government will now spend in dealing with this particular issue, one would think.
Yeah, that's remarkable, Pierre, that there's that 100,000 difference between last January and now. And so is it a shift in policy that we've been hearing about, the way that the Trump administration wants to go about doing this versus the way the Biden administration did? Or is it personality? President Trump a lot more credible when he tells people, I'm going to deport you, perhaps than Joe Biden was.
Well, again, this is early in the process. We're just weeks into the process. We'll have to see if these numbers continue to hold up. But I think a number of people that we've spoken to clearly are suggesting that the attitude, the messaging here of don't come, we don't want you, is something that may be taking hold. And also the headlines, which have been international, about mass deportations, or at least the effort to deport as many people as possible, the focus early on people who've committed crimes inside the United States, is something that's getting out. And we know from just anecdotal evidence that this is causing a lot of concern and fear in that community that is residing in the country.
So the administration has been pretty adamant to all undocumented immigrants that they should self-deport regardless if they've committed a crime or not. So what impact do you believe that has made as well on these numbers?
Okay, we had a pretty, I thought, dramatic development overnight where the Department of Homeland Security released information about a PR campaign that they've now launched, in which they're basically telling all undocumented immigrants, get out, to self-deport. And they're making it clear that we're in a new phase where it's not just a focus on people, undocumented immigrants who've committed crimes in this country, but anyone who's here and did not go through the proper process. They're saying self-deport, no matter how long you've been here, get out of the country. Otherwise, you will have no chance of coming back, if they find you and deport you. So I think think about that campaign if you're in the barber shop, if you're, listening to your radio, or if you're watching something on social media and you see it, the Homeland Security Secretary literally giving you that message.
It would be effective. Just one quick question. Does that include dreamers? They want people who've been here, brought here as children. They have no home country. This is their home country. Does that include them too, do you think? Well,
again, the release that went out was not specific, other than if you're in this country and you're not documented, self-deport, period. So we have to get those additional details from the administration. But at least the initial message is to people, no matter if you have a business, if you own property, whatever, self-deport now, because if you don't and you're deported, once they find you, you would not have a path backward. That's the direct quote from the Homeland Security Secretary.
All right, Pierre, great reporting there. Thanks very much.